Yo, what's up, people? Welcome back to another segment of Control the Cool. I'm your boy, A. Kinsler. I got my man, Joe Woods, Slim Suliart, and of course, Aminah Massenburg, attorney at law, is coming with us and coming to vibe with us to talk to us. This segment today that we're going to discuss is about wills and the importance of how our Black community, but just all communities, should make sure that we have a will in place for your family and everything. So, Aminah, thank you so much for coming out. We had some great dialogue meeting you and actually talking to you. To let you guys know, fellas, she's an avid watcher and a follower of Control the Cool. So it's amazing to know that we actually have followers in different capacities that kind of agree to join in and just vibe with us. So again, thank you so much. So, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself first, a little bit about your background and what you do, so the people can be introduced to the Massenburg Law Group. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right.
So first of all, gentlemen, thank you for having me. Thank you for your time. Really excited about being here. I'm kind of jealous because I don't have a Control the Cool swag shirt. You know, hopefully you guys you'll start to promote your swag real soon so that other people can purchase those shirts as well. But I'm really excited to be here. I think this is an important topic for us to discuss about being, you know, everybody gets so excited about, you know, new birth and about buying houses and this, that, and the third. But they say, you know, especially Black and brown people, we act the craziest during funerals and usually weddings. So I'm not here to promote weddings at this point in time, but to really discuss what you can do in order to best prepare you for when it's time for you to transition, because it's 100% guaranteed that you will pass away. No matter who you are, you're gonna pass away. But Amir wanted me to kind of introduce myself. So I'm a New Jersey native, Newark resident. Representing Newark. Graduated from Rutgers Newark School of Law. Been practicing law for over 10 years now. I have my own practice called the Massenburg Law Group, like Amir stated. And, you know, I'm just here to try to provide some type of information for the people, answer you gentlemen's questions as well, and to you know, utilize myself as a resource. I do have to say this, just because the bar requires me to do so. By no means am I giving anybody any type of legal advice. We're just having the conversation about a legal topic. So no one should rely on this information that I'm providing as being information that per se was given by an attorney. I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney, so to speak, and your is a generic you. But I just wanted to make sure that I, you know, drop this seed in everybody's head about this particular topic that does have legal ramifications, so that way we can make sure that we're doing a better job as a community, making sure that we are, you know, prepared for the inevitable.
Right. So, you know, of course we all have or have always wanted to kind of figure out what our will is, but, you know, we just never, I've never done it. I'm not sure. Slim, you have a will? Joe, you have a will? You guys have wills yet?
Honestly, I spoke to my wife about it, but I might have to be talking to Aminah to get that done, you know. I know it's very important, and yeah, so I'll be reaching out to you for something like that.
Yeah, because it's funny because I just got done talking to my fiance. She asked me, "Do you have a will?" and things of that nature. And I was like, "No, I don't." And then Amir told me that we're having a lawyer on who does that, and I was like, "Oh, sweet." But I know I'm kind of late in the game. But what age should you get a will written?
That's a great question. My answer is and I want us to get rid of the stigmas and the morbidity surrounding this. You know, like people are like, "Oh my God, you're talking about folk dying," but like I said, it's inevitable. But I say 18 years old is when you should have your will. Once you're of the age where you can make your own decisions about yourself, and that document is actually a legally binding document. Now, of course, a lot of us don't have anything at 18. But a will provides more than just say, and we'll use the King's English language. I bequeath my property in fee simple absolute to the heirs of my body. Like it's more than that.
I don't even know what that meant just now. Those are a few big words from my mental dictionary. You know what I'm saying?
But a will is more than that. You at 18 years old, if you knew you were going to transition, you might want to be buried in your Air Jordans, but your mama is determined to bury you in, that KNG suit that you hated. Like, these are the things that you get to make decisions about. But not even just a will, but there's three different types of documents that I do want to discuss. So there's a living will, there's a last will and testament, and there's a power of attorney. So all three of those documents are distinguishable documents. So a living will is you're alive, but these are the things that you want to happen, while you're alive, when you are not able to care for yourself. A last will and testament is once you've transitioned, that this is what you wish to occur after you transition. And power of attorney is you giving an individual power to make decisions for you, again, while you're still alive. And they're very different documents. They have very different types of requirements, things of that nature. So, like, I'm here with you guys. Like I said, I'm totally excited. I don't know how you want to move forward. How we're gonna do this?
I want to ask, do you actually need an attorney to write a will? Are you able to do it on your own?
That's a fantastic question. No, you do not need an attorney, especially those of us who live in the state of New Jersey. The state of New Jersey has really pretty much done the work for you as well. There's a link, and I've already shared the link with you gentlemen, so I'm sure you'll share the link moving forward. But there's a link where the state of New Jersey provides a template for you to fill out the information and utilize it accordingly. And even in that, it doesn't just limit it to a last will statement. So they call it a proxy directive, which is a durable power of attorney for your healthcare provider, as well as an instructive directive, which is your living will that I was just making mention to. So your durable power of attorney is what goes to your healthcare provider. So in my situation, it would be my spouse, to say that, if Aminah is unable to make decisions for herself, incapacitated, whatever the case may be, that here are the things that I wish to happen as far as my advanced directives are concerned. So whether or not I don't want to be resuscitated, or, if I do want to be resuscitated, it's only up to a certain point. Things of that nature. Whereas your living will is, here's where all my money is if you need to pay for stuff while I'm still alive to preserve my life, or whatever it is that you need for me to do. So the state of New Jersey does a really great job about providing those two documents for you for free. The instructions are there on how you need to do it. You do not need to hire an attorney. By no means am I here to promote you hire an attorney to do your will. But if you got it figured out, and you don't, you don't have any kids out there that you don't know about, or some real crazy property.
Yeah, what about you, man?
First,
got about 3.
Slim probably got about 5 kids that he don't even know about. Slim chilling, bro.
If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's here to hear it, I'm on the plane.
I would suggest that you do hire an attorney if you do have a number of assets that you need to be properly devised. So, like, if you have a number of properties or a lot of different accounts that need to be mentioned, or if you and your spouse aren't necessarily in the best place, it's definitely good to have an attorney. So that way you can discuss those things privately with attorney-client privilege. But you cannot necessarily disinherit your spouse. So if you're sitting on a gold mine, you can't necessarily say, and my spouse gets nothing. So there's different legal.
Can we prenup the situation? So
Oh yeah,
I have a
you
question.
absolutely can. Yes, you can prenup, but I'm not here to discuss prenups. That's not the conversation
Stay on
right now.
topic. Stay on topic.
Just in case Slim get a divorce tonight because he ain't with
Wow.
You always say
Wow.
this joker is really, that's his real questions. He about to get married, but he want to put the stuff in line because he know he's about to blow up. So he don't want to give it nothing.
We know it ain't Joe because Joe and Yo-Yo is like super glued together. And,
Oh, you trying to say that? Oh, well, I'm gonna leave it there.
well, no,
Wow.
You know,
Slim, you the rebel and you the oldest one out the group anyway. So we always got to look at Grandpa for the situation.
you know what? I'm gonna stay on topic and let John Legend with the
And listen, Aminah, let me
beard.
one thing about our show, and I'm glad you on. We do what we want.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
Exactly.
Oh, I know.
But it's so funny that we're talking about wills because even though we joke around all the time, but these two gentlemen are married and I'm not. So I look at how they move and it's a great example. But we also have to be conscious as well. Like all three of us have companies, so like when we're doing our will, that's an important aspect. You know what I'm saying? Joe, he's a phenomenal artist. He's all over the place selling his art. Slim is on every block somewhere in Newark. Like if you are from Newark and you are downtown in that downtown area, 9 times out of 10, Slim Sully Art had his hand, he touched a piece of a wall or something. And that's just facts. So when we're in a situation like that, and I take pictures everywhere, I'm doing videos producing everything. So with that, how do we determine, what we should be, putting in our will? What is it? What's the thought process?
So I heard Joe refer to his relationship as that being your fiance, right? So you guys aren't married yet. So and not that we're speaking this into existence, so knock on wood. If you were to transition right this second, the woman that you are saying that you want to marry would get nothing, just because you guys have no legal ties. So it would be perpetual delay. Whereas as Suleiman, you have a wife. Even if you didn't have a will at all, everything goes to your wife. So I don't know if I got a little distorted there because I said my internet was unstable. So I'm saying it again. Fiancés don't count. Spouses do. So the only way you make things like that count is if you write that in your will. Okay. So you can literally devise anything to anybody you want, but you have to have it documented, because if not, it goes to the next recognizable heir or the next recognizable family member. So Suleiman, in your case, it would be your wife. Joe, in your case, it would either be your children or your parents, because you're not legally bound to you. So, in answer your question, Amir, those are the types of things that you want to put in your will. Like, hey, I might not be married yet, but this is where I want, my assets to go. This is who I want to be the executor or executrix of my estate. And an estate is not necessarily, something that you think about when you watch like the show Dynasty or something crazy like that. But your estate is just everything that you have, all the possessions that you have, and that can be, your businesses, your art, your vehicles, your houses. All those things can be listed as your possessions. So that's what you think about. That's what you think about when you put in your will. Like, where does your stuff go? Who gets your stuff? Also, too, what you think about when you're detailing a will. And I have a whole checklist too that I'll share with you all as well. What you want to think about too is, how do you want to be buried? Where do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be put in the ground? And if you do want to be cremated, where do you want your ashes spread? But even before you transition, what you might want to consider too is, like I said, the advance directive, as well as, the living will and your power of attorney. What happens when you can't speak for yourself, or when you can't do things for yourself? Who is the person that you want to step up and be that person for you? Who is that? So these are the things that you have to consider when you're documenting and when you're putting together these documents. Who's your person? What do you have? Where would the place that you would want to be your quote unquote final resting place? Do you want to be resuscitated? If you get into a situation, do you want to be put on life support? These are the things that you get to answer now. And the great part about having these documents in place is it decreases the amount of stress that your family members already have to deal with understanding that you may transition, or that you are not, you don't have the necessarily abilities that you previously had. So you can't move like you want to. You can't talk like you want to. You might be in a medically induced coma, or whatever it may be. What do you want to happen in your life? I love the fact that the show is called Control the Cool, because this is really, you talking about controlling what you can and documenting it so that your family members don't, this is one less thing they have to deal with, one less thing they have to worry about, one less thing they have to stress about, because you already had it organized and put together, so that way the decisions are made. All they have to do is follow the instructions. And that's why for me, these documents are very important. That's why also, especially in light of everything that's going on with this pandemic, I don't know, even us having this, I don't get to sit down in the office on the couch like everybody else did, because of the pandemic. But even that, like, we're seeing so many people, who were just here a couple days ago, and they have transitioned, and their families have no idea, what they're gonna do, or how they're gonna move forward, how they're gonna support this. Next thing you know, there's a GoFundMe page for them. So, these are all the things that I really am trying to impress upon folk right now to think about, because Black and brown people are not doing it. We're not doing it. Some of our, more melanin deficient brothers and sisters, they are out here doing it. They have their documents in place. Everything is in the strong box, under the bed, or in the safe. Like, it's all documented in detail, and there's not all this confusion about, who gets the grandfather clock, or the favorite cufflinks, or this, that, and the third. Those things are already documented. So, if you want to argue and fuss about stuff, this was what they chose to do.
So what made me laugh, she said melanin deficient. I was lost. Like, that was a shot. Like, you throw a shot, like, that was a shot.
A fact is a fact. Listen, a fact is a fact.
Melanin. I want to ask you something, Aminah. How often can you actually make corrections or change your will? Because, when I saw Power, Tasha thought she was going to get this money, and Ghost said change that will, she didn't get nothing. So how often can you make changes, and how often should you revise or look at your will?
I think during every major life transition, you should consider changing your will. And here's what I would consider a major life transition. You have a baby. You get divorced, you hit the Mega Million, things like that. Right, well, things like that.
You got that money?
Right. So when you have a major life transition, I think you should consider changing your will. And major life transitions are totally up to you as to what you consider a major life transition. You buy a house, you buy a car, you buy a Rolex. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Right.
You like to watch a game.
Whatever it is.
He's still be late, though.
My watch game is
he's still late. He still be late. He got a million watches, and he's always late.
I was on time today. I was the first one, and I got a text from Miss Massenburg saying, "Hey, I'm ready for you all." So I was on already.
Hey.
So that's fine.
But I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
I know this is it's touchy subject when it comes to writing a will and getting a will done. When is it the time to tell your children that you wrote a will and things are going down? This is how it's going to turn out.
Say that again. I didn't hear you. I apologize.
I said, when is it a good time to tell your children that you wrote a will and this is what's going down?
Right away.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that topics like that are only touchy because we make them touchy. You know, if you're having these conversations, if there's a level of transparency that's there, it's not touchy. You know, that there's no surprise, there's no confusion. This is what we do in our family. We draft wills. You know what I mean? Like, we make sure that all of our affairs are in order. So it doesn't become a touchy topic because it's gonna happen. You know, I don't know if you guys remember that old Chris Rock song where he went through all the zodiacs. He was like, "You're gonna die." Like you're gonna die. Like, it's gonna happen. And again, it's not to sound morbid. This is reality. This is real life. So it's good to have those conversations with your children to say, we're all gonna die eventually. And when it's my time to go, this is where my documents are. And you need to know this. And not necessarily that you need to know this so that you can go and, you know, start looking now to see, you know, how much you're gonna get or what you're not gonna get. But so that you have an awareness of that these documents exist and where they are and what they're purposed for. So I think it only becomes it's like anything. We create the sensitivity in the topics based off of how much we decide that we want to discuss it, or even how we approach the conversation. So it's no more difficult than talking to your kids about sex. So, you know, right? Listen, but it is what it is.
You know, Joe and Slim, y'all probably had some difficult times having that conversation. So I do have to ask this, and we ask every guest on this. Now, you've been attorney for over 10 years. You know, your knowledge and extensive wisdom in I'm just gonna say in the portion of wills is extraordinary. So what is an attorney? How can you, do you feel like being an attorney is a form of an art?
Yeah, I'll say it is. And the reason is,
explain why.
Yeah, I'm going to. The reason why I feel that way, they call it the practice of law. And the reason why it's called the practice of law is because nobody can master it because it's always changing. And the thing about being an attorney, especially as you practice law, is you have to make sure that you stay on top of these things and understand how laws are changing or things are transitioning. So that way you can properly convey that information to those who need to receive it. So I think that's an art form in itself. Just like if you're looking at it from the standpoint of aesthetic art, that it'll speak to what's happening during that time. So, you know, for me, my canvas is the will right now, and the purpose of me trying to bring color to this canvas is definitely in light of and the importance of it. So the importance of it, the sense of urgency surrounding it, for me, is in light of everything that's going on with COVID-19. And the fact that Black and brown people are not as prepared for these types of situations as, like I said, some of our other counterparts. So it's something that you know, speaking to our people so that we can reach them in a way that they can understand, so they can see it in a way that they can understand. And I think that's no different than what, you know, some of our, again, aesthetic artists do. Just like, you know, we saw in Newark how they painted Black Lives Matter on the street. And not just to Newark, but a lot of the major cities in the United States. That's art, and it's important. And there's an expedition to it, and it needs to happen now because it's something that we really need to be mindful of. So I will say that yes, I do believe that what I do is an art. I believe that it's going to always, art is timeless. People are always going to need a will. I think people are always going to need some type of legal representation, just because laws were not written for common folk to understand. And that's just the unfortunate, elitism of the practice of law. But it can be done in a way so that anybody can get it and anybody can understand, and that everybody can understand the importance of it. So, hopefully I made my case as to why I should put in an artist amongst all of you beautiful artists.
I like the way you actually answered that question, and Amir, you was in my head because I was thinking about kind of segue into that. And we always do our thing. We have the Book of Cool, Sue's Book of Cool right here.
Yep, it is.
Take words that people provide us, and I change into art. So today, I'm gonna take Aminah's word that she gave me. I'm gonna show you what the outcome is right
Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh boy.
I'm trying to see if you can see anything over here.
Oh boy.
Hold it right there, cause
Joe.
Hey Joe, you see the dude that's turned, right? Okay, so it's a girl that graduated. It's the gavel.
The black woman judge in the middle.
Yeah. That's who he thought he should graduate.
Right.
Okay.
That's a judge.
I would say lawyer or attorney.
That's what you think the word is?
Man.
Right, go ahead, Joe.
I can't.
Woo-wee. Let me see here.
Yo, listen. Every time, we be saying it's stuck.
Oh man.
It has to be. I'm thinking because it's long. So I'm thinking. I got three options. I have
Law firm.
Law firm, yes. Attorney, justice.
It's like that the guy has something on his face. Looks like an M or something, has a little shape at the very end. I can't try to look where it is.
He got a good shape up too.
I gotta move back, or let me see. Is this better?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right, well, listen, man. You two jokers is not. You don't have it. Can you tell them what it was, Aminah?
The word is preparation.
That was a P on the hat.
Yeah. Preparation.
Now, see, I would have never thought about that, but it makes a whole lot of sense because the wheels are essentially it's preparation and it's
preparing for something. Yeah.
Yo.
So high five to you right now. I mean, we started. Jokers probably got it like one time, maybe twice. Out of all the 11, 12, 13 shows we did, they only got it maybe once or twice.
But how many times did we really get it, Slim? No, we got it like twice.
At least maybe twice. I know once for sure, but maybe twice.
Because this is the thing, yo. When you have, me personally, I always big my guys up. I'm just considerably blessed. When you got a guy like Slim who elevates what he does, like every picture, so what we do for some of you listeners out there, we have a chat together. So we're always talking to each other, laughing, giggling, supporting, pushing each other. So he sends us, now it's football season. So he sends us this dope thing of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So immediately I felt some type of way because it wasn't Dallas Cowboys. So and I was ready. I didn't like your face right there. We can discuss that later. You too, Joe. We can discuss that later. However, he sends the picture and it's speeded. He sped it up to where it's like
time lapse.
He's doing this thing. And I'm like, yo, the skill set that he has is just like amazing. You know what I'm saying? And then when you look, like you come out of that and you see Joe has a new picture, so make sure y'all go on Instagram, man. That picture gonna drop. That new joint is gonna be crazy. Like when you see that, and then to have you here, it's really a sense of art. And I like the way you put, that the wheel is your canvas, because the information that you're applying to that canvas is really the color, the scheme, the writing, and all of that. It's not just a stick figure pose. So for us to see that word preparation and not be something that me and Joe are like thinking, like Joe, lawyer, attorney, something that's geared around you, but more so geared around the preparation of building your legacy. And I think with this episode, this is something that we all can definitely take from, and we all have to do that. Now, however, I'm lost because I don't know what to write in my will. Like I guess
don't shave my beard and make sure you put cocoa bean.
I'm proud, man.
Yo, keep it real. Hey, Joe, who would you give your pictures to? 'Cause you got a lot of photos. Not photos. What's the correct word? Art. A lot of artwork. Who would you give your artwork to?
It would go to the kids to hold on to. Because I do it for the kids. I create art, folks buy, and whatever I get, it's for the kids. I buy it for the kids, so I would just give it to them. Hopefully they hang on to it, or whatever. Or they can just, like I said, or they just keep it as the essence of me. It's just my dad's stuff.
And what you could document in your will too is you can write whether or not you want them to sell that art, or if you want it to be maintained in your family. That's something that you could also document in your will.
So specifics, you can write specifically if something can be sold or kept in the family.
Right.
Does that have a density of what it is? Like, what if it was a house? Is that the same way? Like,
Now you can make that request, but that doesn't necessarily mean that a request like that will be sustainable. And here's why. So let's say like you got a piece of property in Durham somewhere, right? But you haven't paid taxes on that property in 5 to 10 years. But it hasn't been so long where you lose the property, but there's an extraordinary amount of debt associated with that property. And even though you want to devise that property to someone else, if your estate doesn't have enough equity in it in order for you to pay off the debt that's associated with that piece of property, that might not be something that can be qualifiable in your will, just because you can't afford it. So you know what I mean? Wow. So you gotta be mindful about things like that. But like stuff like if you have a pocket watch or something like that. So like that's something. So my daddy has a pocket watch, and he doesn't have any sons. But his father asked that, that the first son that comes from the heir of my father's body, that's a son, gets the pocket watch. So, and my father has 2 daughters. So if my sister or I have a son, then he'll get that pocket watch. And the request will be, again, that it get passed down accordingly. But, that's a request that you can make. That this pocket watch, that it goes to the oldest of my grandchildren. If you have grandchildren. So you can definitely devise it that way. Just to kind of get complicated with it. That's more of a complex element, that goes past the basics of, everything goes to this person. Once you start getting into the nuances of it, the details of it, of course, that's when I suggest that you get an attorney so that you make sure it gets devised appropriately. But you can totally do it all by yourself. But that's where I would say once you get into those, more novelty things, you should hire an attorney. Go ahead. Yeah, I cut you off from here. I apologize.
No worries. So in this case, let's just use control the cool. Like it's three of us. What would we do in that situation? Because
Well, I mean, it depends. So it depends. It depends on how you guys have decided, who owns what as far as control the pool, the business is concerned, if there is even a business. So I don't have a flat out answer. It really is dependent upon how you guys have even begun this structure. So even that needs a document to say that, it's a equal shares of this particular thing, that each of you own a third. And if that's the case, if each of you own a third, then each of you has a right to do what you feel is necessary with that third, depending on what the other 2/3 has decided is agreeable. So so if Control the Cool, we'll say Control the Cool is a multi-million-dollar business.
It is.
I just said it. So what you guys might say is if one of you transitions, then it goes from being everybody owning a third to a 50-50 shared business until, one of you outlives the other one. And then whoever is left with the business, then that's how, it really depends. It really depends on how you write it up and whatever decision that you make. So I don't have a straightforward answer for you on that.
But that's good to know, because Slim with his Frederick Douglass ass, he about 78, knocking on the wall, baby.
Hey, man, okay. We probably got better vision than this young man.
Wow.
Well, listen, man, it's been definitely a pleasure for you to get out with us, and we thank you first of all so much for just being a great fan and just reaching out to us saying, hey, you want to be on the show. We can talk about that later about the dialogue, but it's amazing that we have great followers, and our followers are very connected to us, and we want to be connected to you. So we will definitely make sure that we get you a Control the Cool shirt. Joe, that's Joe's department. Joe handles all of our merchandise and everything. So Joe will make sure that you get a Control the Cool shirt. Lord willing, man, we get out of the binks and we can get back in person. I missed my guys, and just to have that fellowship. So I know this, but this Zoom is working. It's working.
You're making it through, and I appreciate having you.
If I can, Amir, I sent you over again. Like I said before, you don't need an attorney to do this. So I sent you, Amir. I sent over a will template for you. And again, share it with the other people that are watching Control the Cool. So at least that way they'll have a template to know what it looks like. And then also to the link that goes directly to the state of New Jersey. Advanced Directive is a government page, so I sent that link over as well. So that way, make sure that you share the information. And if you all need to get in contact with me, I'm happy to share my information as well. But I do want to just let you know, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to come on this platform and to have this conversation. And for you all understanding the importance of it, that's really meaningful to me. And again, this is not a business objective for me, but more so really making sure that this is one more thing that we as a people can't say that we didn't know about. So I really appreciate this opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you for saying yes.
For real.
We appreciate you, and I will definitely get my will done, and I'm gonna come to you.
Thank you.
Cool. Listen, once again, man, we thank all of you for watching with us and enjoying in with the show. As always, man, we just enjoy ourselves over here. I am yours truly, A. Kinsler, my man Joe Woods, Slim Suliart, and of course, the attorney at large, Miss Aminah Massenburg. Listen, we're gonna have all her information within the credits. Make sure if you have any legal questions, you contact her. Don't contact us, because we not know. You call her for all your stuff. Don't you call Slim Cause Slim old, he ain't gonna know. Well, listen, man, we just want to make sure that we, everyone out there who's watching, please make sure you contact this young lady. She is grinding. She is on the move. She is doing her thing. And of course, she's a Black-owned business. Please, we want to make sure that we continue to support our Black-owned business because she has came on to support us. And as always, this your boy A. Kinsler, man, and we make the rules and we control the cool. We out.